Well, I was 18 years old in 1968. I was in a terrible car accident. And during the car accident, I was pulled and sort of wiggled from my body and went into this dark tunnel. Things were just shooting by me, noises, lights. But I was in this absolutely calm ether that was just very pleasant, very joyful, very quiet. And I watched all of this. I turned and saw a light behind me, and I was getting closer to it, and just it enveloped me. I went in backwards and found myself standing. I looked to my right, and there was lots of people coming towards me, old, young.
They just looked like regular people?
Yes, some relatives that had died. They came towards me. Everybody was talking to me, but it was more in my head. And then to the left of me was this ominous presence that also was speaking to me.
God?
At the time, I had no idea what was happening to me. I knew I was in this wonderful, pleasant place. I was directed to look at this screen, kind of like a hole or a black matrix screen, and I saw down into it. I could see the car rolling, and it was doing one more endo, and then it did 3 rolls.
Right.
And at that time, I was told that I didn't have to stay, and I watched. And you have different vision there.
Yeah.
And I watched, and I said, I want to go back to her.
You did. Because some people say they were just pulled to stay, they wanted to stay, but they felt it wasn't time yet, so they went back. Is that how it works, no?
Very, very common, particularly with children. They're often told they have to go back.
What did you, how did this change your life? You were 18.
I was 18. Well, when I went back, all I could hear inside the car was people. They were just waiting for the coroner's office and a tow truck from Oklahoma City.
They thought you were dead.
They had gone in. The fire department was already there. They were just waiting.
And you were listening to them.
And when I came back from up there, when I decided to go back, I felt a tear. And when I touched the tear, I was boom back in my body, and I thought, I'm back. And I saw lights going across through this crack in the wrecked car. So I stuck my fingers up and started wiggling them. And when somebody saw it, everybody just started running. I heard noise, and a fireman crawled in through what was probably at once the back seat, and said, "Well, little lady, you're back with us."
Of a skiing accident.
Now, would you tell me, Jenny, take me through it. Take our viewers through it. What happened? What did you see? And what did you feel?
Well, for me, the experience was immediately after the collision, after the accident. And what happened that I thought was interesting before I had the NDE is my body flew in the air and landed front in the snow. I immediately left my body. I was approximately 10 to 15 feet above it, and I could see the people bending over my body and testing to see if I was all right and talking to me.
And this is what's called an out-of-body experience.
An out-of-body experience.
Yeah,
now, I did see the person then that collided behind me and hit me, and I did not see him before or after the accident, so I was able to describe in detail what he looked like and the clothes that he was wearing. And in my case, it was interesting because it was a ski instructor, so I could see him, and the clothing was quite different than the other people that were around me. From there, I went through the tunnel. And
the tunnel? What's the tunnel?
The tunnel is the area that I went after the out-of-body experience. And for me, what it was like is a very warm, very dark tunnel, and I would float or glide from side to side, very slowly, slow moving. And I was approaching a light which was at the end of the tunnel. This light was very bright, very brilliant, and one was invited to come to this light.
How's that invitation?
Not verbally. I can't say I was verbally invited to come.
An attraction?
More of a feeling. And again, I was floating or gliding, and I had no control over this. I was being taken into this tunnel and glided. When I did come near to the light, however, immediately I was transferred out of the light at such a fast pace, I could see the tunnel sides just quickly past me. I went into a very bright, bright tunnel, and the next thing I knew, I opened my eyes, and I was still in the same position I was when I started the journey.
Back in the snow.
In the snow. My face was in the snow, and I was in the same position I was in when I had the collision.
Back alive.
Yes.
Now, how'd you feel about that, being back to life?
My first thought was I was very angry. And
Angry?
I was very angry at God, that He chose. It was a feeling. Again, I can't say that somebody told me this. It was a feeling that immediately I spoke to God, and I was so upset with Him. I let Him know that I was very upset that He chose to put me back in my body. I would have enjoyed staying in the tunnel. Even though when I was in the tunnel, I knew that I would miss my husband and my family, but it was only for a brief second, because when I was in the tunnel, it was very safe, very tranquil, and the word serenity come to mind to describe it.
Do you look forward to going back to that tunnel?
Well, it's been a long journey to get me where I'm at now. I'm not afraid to go back. I have a friend that probably has a couple years left to live, and probably before the NDE, near-death experience, I would have been very sad for him and afraid, but because of my experience, I know that he's going to be fine.
Would you introduce yourself,